Once upon a time, in a peaceful village nestled among the hills, there lived a kind young woman named Marie, who had lost her beloved mother.
Marie's father, a simple woodcutter, tried his best to care for his daughter, but loneliness filled their home like winter's chill.
Each day, Marie worked from dawn until dusk, keeping house for her father and tending to their humble home. By the way, in medieval times, making bread was an all-day task that required grinding grain by hand.
Marie, my dear daughter, you work so hard. I worry about you being alone when I am gone.
Marie's heart ached with loneliness, but she never complained, for she loved her father dearly and wished not to burden him.
One autumn morning, Marie's father ventured deep into the forest to cut wood, as he had done countless times before. As he worked among the ancient trees, his thoughts turned to his daughter's future and his own advancing age. He knew that Marie needed a mother's guidance, and he himself longed for companionship in his twilight years.
By the way, medieval marketplaces were the social heart of villages, where people gathered not just to trade goods, but to share news and...
It was at such a marketplace that Marie's father first encountered the widow who would change their lives forever. She appeared refined and proper, a widow of means seeking a new husband, and Marie's father saw an opportunity for his daughter.
Good widow, I am a simple woodcutter with a gentle daughter. Perhaps we might speak of companionship. My home is humble but honest.
The widow agreed to the marriage, but her heart was as cold as winter frost, and she brought with her 2 daughters as vain and cruel as herself.
Within weeks, the wedding took place, and the widow moved into Marie's humble cottage with her 2 daughters, bringing their expensive possessions and haughty attitudes.
Move that table there. These peasant furnishings are intolerable. Everything must be arranged to suit proper ladies.
Marie watched in silence as her simple, loving home was transformed into a showcase of vanity and greed.
Look at me. I am surely the most beautiful maiden in all the village. Every man must be dying to court me. You, beautiful? I think not. It is I who shall marry a rich nobleman, not you, you freckled cow.
Marie had been cast out of her own bed and now slept on the cold floor like a servant, while her stepsisters claimed.
Each day, Marie's burdens grew heavier as she was forced to cook, clean, fetch water, and serve her stepmother. By the way, hauling water from wells was exhausting labor that required upper body strength, as a full bucket could weigh 30 to 40 pounds.
About time, you lazy girl. That water should have been drawn an hour ago. Now hurry and prepare breakfast before my daughters wake.
Marie's father watched his daughter's suffering with a heavy heart, but he had grown weak and defeated, unable to stand against his new wife's cruelty. Each evening, Marie would escape to the edge of the forest, seeking solace among the trees where memories of her mother still lingered.
There stood an ancient birch tree that her mother had loved, its white bark gleaming like silver in the moonlight.
Marie would speak to the tree as if speaking to her lost mother, pouring out her sorrows to the whispering leaves.
Oh, Mother, if you can hear me in heaven above, please help me. I am so alone and frightened.
And then, as the stars began to appear, a miracle occurred that would change Marie's fate forever.
By the way, birch trees have been considered sacred in many history.
From the glowing tree emerged a spirit of ethereal beauty, the guardian of the sacred birch.
Marie, gentle child, I have heard your prayers. Your mother's love still...
Are you truly real? Can you truly help me? My heart is breaking under my stepmother's cruelty.
I cannot change your stepmother's heart, for that is beyond even magical power.
The spirit blessed the ground around the birch tree, and wherever her light touched, magic took root.
By the way, in folklore, fairy rings of mushrooms and flowers were believed to mark places where supernatural beings had danced.
When you are in need, come to this tree and ask, and it shall provide what you require. Inside the hollow, Marie found fresh bread, still warm, though no oven stood nearby.
With tears of gratitude, Marie accepted the gift, and the spirit began to fade back into the birch tree from whence she came.
Remember, child, your mother's love never died. It lives in this tree, in your heart.
And with that, the spirit returned to her realm. But the tree's magic remained, waiting for Marie's call.
Marie returned home with the magical bread, her heart lighter than it had been in many months.
But inside the cottage, her stepmother and stepsisters had noticed her absence and were waiting with sharp words.
Where have you been, you lazy wretch? Sneaking off while there is work to be done. And what is that you're holding? Where did you get this bread? Did you steal it? Or have you been meeting some man in secret?
No, stepmother. I found it by the old birch tree at Forest's edge. It was simply there, a gift from nature.
The stepsisters devoured the magical bread, not caring where it came from, only that it tasted sweeter than anything they had eaten before.
Marie said nothing, for she knew the birch tree's magic was hers alone to call upon, and her stepfamily could never take that from her.
And so the days passed, with Marie working ceaselessly while her stepfamily lived in idleness.
Dear tree, my mother's spirit, I am so hungry. Might you spare a little food for me tonight?
And the tree always provided, never failing to answer Marie's gentle requests with nourishment for body and soul.
One crisp autumn morning, a royal herald arrived in the village with news that set every heart aflutter.
Hear ye! Hear ye! By order of His Royal Majesty, a grand ball shall be held at the royal palace. All made...
Way? Royal balls were rare and magnificent events where commoners could glimpse royalty, and the...
My darlings, this is your chance. One of you shall marry the prince and become royalty. We must prepare immediately. The cottage became a whirlwind of preparation, with stepmother spending every coin on elaborate gowns for her daughters.
Look at me. I am so beautiful in this gown. The prince will surely choose me the moment he sees me.
Out of my way!
No, I am the most beautiful. The prince will choose me, not you, you ridiculous toad.
Marie watched from the shadows, her heart aching with longing, for she too dreamed of dancing at the royal ball.
Stepmother, please, might I also attend the ball? I could wear my mother's old dress.
You? Go to the ball in rags? You would embarrass us. Besides, you have far too much work to do here. You'll stay home where you belong. Now remember, my darlings, smile demurely, dance gracefully, and let the prince see your refinement.
And so stepmother and her daughters departed for the palace in a hired carriage, leaving Marie behind. Marie stood watching until the carriage vanished from sight, feeling more alone than ever before.
How she longed to attend the ball, to dance just once, to feel beautiful and free, if only for a single evening.
With nowhere else to turn, Marie ran to the birch tree, her heart breaking with disappointment and longing.
Please, dear tree, my mother's spirit. I know it's foolish, but my heart aches to attend the ball.
The tree heard her prayer, and its magic responded with power greater than ever before.
And then, for the first time, my precious daughter, my beautiful Marie. You have endured so much with such... Mother? Is it truly you? Oh, Mother, I've missed you so terribly. Tonight, the magic of the birch tree and a mother's eternal love shall grant your wish, sweet Marie.
And with a wave of their combined power, the spirits began to work their enchantment.
Marie's simple peasant dress transformed into a magnificent ball gown of purest white silk.
The gown was more beautiful than anything ever seen in the village, fit for a true princess. And upon her feet appeared slippers made of pure glass, as clear as morning dew and as light as air.
Her golden hair arranged itself into an elegant style, adorned with white roses and diamonds that sparkled like stars.
When the transformation was complete, Marie looked like a princess from a fairy tale, radiant with beauty and grace. Thank you. Oh, thank you both. I never imagined anything so beautiful. But how shall I get to the palace? Every enchantment requires a magical touch. Watch closely, dear child.
The spirit's magic touched an ordinary pumpkin, and before Marie's eyes, it transformed into a magnificent carriage.
The carriage was a masterpiece of magic, gleaming white as birch bark with silver.
And now for your coachman and horses, my darling daughter. By the way, in fairy tales, white or dung symbolize purity.
A field mouse became a dignified coachman, ready to drive the carriage to the palace.
Listen carefully, my precious one. This magic is powerful but temporary. You must leave the ball before midnight when the clock strikes 12.
When the clock strikes 12, the magic will end. Your gown will return to its original form, the carriage to a pumpkin.
I understand, I promise. I will leave before midnight. Thank you both for this incredible gift. Goodbye. Thank you. I will never forget this.
The coachman stood ready, and with the spirit's blessings still warm in her heart, Marie stepped toward the carriage. She moved with natural grace, as if she had been born to such elegance.
Marie settled into the carriage, her heart pounding with excitement and nervousness about the evening ahead.
And so the magical carriage set off through the forest toward the palace, carrying Marie toward her destiny.
As the carriage rolled through the moonlit forest, Marie's mind raced with hopes and fears about the ball. What if someone recognizes me? What if I don't know how to dance properly? What if I don't belong there? Then the forest opened, and Marie caught her first glimpse of the royal palace blazing with light upon the hill.
By the way, medieval royal palaces could have over 1,000 rooms and would light thousands of
Marie's carriage joined the procession of nobles and wealthy families, all converging on the palace for the royal ball.
As the palace drew near, Marie gathered her courage, reminding herself that she had as much right to be there as anyone else.
Looking at her reflection, Marie barely recognized herself, transformed not just by magic, but by the confidence beginning to bloom within.
Finally, the magical carriage arrived at the palace entrance, where nobles from across the kingdom were arriving in their finest.
As Marie stepped from the carriage, heads began to turn, for no one had ever seen such an elegantly beautiful maiden.
Marie looked up at the grand staircase, took a deep breath, and began
The ballroom was more magnificent than anything Marie had ever imagined. A fairy tale brought...
When Marie appeared at the ballroom entrance, a hush fell over the nearby guests, for whispers rippled through the ballroom.
Who is she? Which noble family does she come from? I've never seen her before.
By the way, irony played its van, for Marie's stepmother and stepsisters stood nearby, yet they did not recognize her in her transformed state.
Prince Wilhelm had been dutifully greeting guests all evening, finding the parade of eager maidens exhausting and shallow. But then, something caught his eye, and Prince Wilhelm forgot entirely what he had been saying.
He saw a maiden who seemed to glow with inner light, whose beauty was natural and unforced, whose wonder appeared genuine and pure.
Without a word to those around him, the prince began moving through the crowd, drawn to this mysterious maiden like a moth to flame.
The entire ballroom watched as their prince crossed directly to the unknown maiden, ignoring all others.
My lady, I am enchanted by your presence. Would you do me the honor of telling me your name and granting me this dance?
I am Marie, your highness. And yes, I would be honored to dance.
And so they began to dance, and from the first step, it felt as natural as breathing. They danced as if no one else existed, and indeed, for them in that moment, no one else did.
You dance beautifully, Marie.
Tell me, where have you been hiding?
I thought I knew all the noble families.
I live simply, your highness, far from court. Tonight is somewhat magical for me.
Time passed like a dream, minutes flowing into each other, unnoticed by the dancing pair.
Dance after dance. The prince refused to release Marie's hand.
And come, let us step outside for a moment. I wish to speak with you away from all these watching eyes.
By the way, palace gardens in medieval time.
Marie, I have met countless maidens tonight, this week, this year, but none have touched my heart as you have.
You are kind to say so, your highness. You have no idea how much this evening means to me. I will treasure this memory always. Memory. Why speak of memories?
This is only the beginning. I feel in my heart that...
But time, heedless of romance, continued its relentless march toward midnight.
The time.
Oh no, what time is it? I must. Oh, so sorry. I must go immediately. Please forgive me, but I cannot explain. Thank you for this magical evening.
Wait! Marie, wait! I don't even know where you live! Please, don't go! Marie fled down the grand staircase, hearing the prince calling after her, her heart breaking even as she ran.
In her haste, one of her glass slippers fell from her foot, tumbling down the marble steps.
The prince stopped and retrieved the delicate slipper, holding it as if it were the most precious treasure in the kingdom.
Marie reached her carriage just as the palace bells began the warning chimes. 5 minutes to midnight. The magical carriage raced away from the palace, carrying Marie back toward her humble reality.
And then the clock struck 12. Midnight arrived, and the magic reached its end.
The transformation was instant and complete, all magic vanishing as if it had never been.
Marie wept, not for the lost magic of the gown, but for the...
By the way, glass was incredibly rare and valuable in medieval times, making glass slippers perhaps the...
And so Marie walked home through the moonlit forest, her heart full of memories that would sustain her through trials yet to come.
Thank you, dear tree, my mother's spirit. Thank you for the most beautiful evening of my life.
And though the spirits did not appear, Marie felt their love surrounding her, and knew that the magic... Marie returned home just as dawn was breaking, slipping quietly into the cottage before her stepfamily awoke.